Welcome back to the Two Alphas Talk. Tonight we're going to talk to you about the racist roots of gun control and how it affects us today.
Boom.
Hey, we're back.
Yep. Before we do that, gotta thank the lovely sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
Now I got some other announcements, so I'm gonna delay some of the announcements to put some of the announcements.
Basically, get it going.
Yeah. All right. I'm not even ready, dog. Oh my
What?
God. I am not even ready. I'm slipping.
Well, I'm gonna show the Bucky's cup.
This
This is a new hot thing going on around now.
What? I can't see.
Bucky's.
Bucky's. What's Bucky's?
It's pretty much
a chicken shack.
Nah, man, it's a roadside
chicken shack
stop. No, it's a
chicken
gasoline stop. When you see it, you're gonna be amazed. They have the largest, most bathrooms in one rest stop you've ever seen before. More gas pumps than any rest stop that I've ever been to.
Okay, I'll check them out. All right, so thank our sponsors. Type in saberteamtactical.com and first page. You guys always remember. You got all the social media accounts here in the front. Then there's click on classes, and we have our favorites.
Our mainstay. So all the classes can be performed for any group. If you have a group of people, 5 or more people. If you have less than 5, let us know. We can work something out with you. But we can do any of the trainings for any group of people. The next thing is our mainstay, which is the private one-on-one classes. Those are still going fine, and you guys follow us. We do an assessment, and assessment, we do it right there. We do an example for you. We do demonstrations. We'll do the demonstration, and then we ask you to do it, and we just take a look at the way you do it. If you fumble something, that's fine. We work with you, show you how not to fumble it. We just move through and evaluate your skill level to where you are, and then we elevate you from there.
Yep.
So if you're basic and you never shot a gun before, we start from there. We don't force you to do something that you're not capable of doing.
Right. And the one-on-ones is for any group, ladies, men,
all
church.
In between.
Yeah. I want to say that. Church.
It is what it is, man.
Business, your personal home. You want to learn how to fight in your home? We can come out and assess your home. All types of other stuff, So it's not just for the range and learning on
churches.
The range.
We've done it a couple of churches.
You want to shoot out of your car, your front seat of your car, driver's seat, passenger seat. We can pull that car right on the range and shoot right out of your car, and teach you how to do that too. So it's not a problem, and we can do all this stuff. Also, it's coming up. We got the concealed carry class coming up in hot August. And that is a class that's going to teach you how to do medical and actually deploy your firearm.
You do stop the bleed there? That's a big topic nowadays. You do stop the bleed in that class?
Yeah, stop the bleed is it's basically a stop the bleed class. Okay. And they just doing that because that's the stop the bleed is a new buzzword that everybody's using right now. So it is a stop the bleed class. So you're stopping the bleed. And I get what you're saying. So maybe I need to change the language on it.
Well, that's it. I'm just trying to appeal to a larger audience.
Right. And all these tactical buzzwords.
Your situational awareness was down just now. That's why I had to help you out.
Right. Yeah, it was. I got a lot going on my end. And we have a shotgun defense class. This is an excellent class. It's the dates are pending, but if you guys got shotguns out there and you guys went out there and bought all these 12 gauges and stuff, want to learn them, we got an excellent class for you guys, and we can get you out there and train. But also in July, we got a rifle PCC class coming up, and that is a class where from 22s to you want to run a 308 out there and carry that big baby, you can do it. And we're going to teach you how to run rifles like they're pistols.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know how to run a rifle like a pistol, so this class will get you there. We also have a October 28th when it starts to cool down medical rifle class. It's basically a stop the bleed in the rifle class. So it shows you how to stop the bleed, how to do the 2-man drag, 1-man drag, and uh, we're getting get keep. Are you still there,
Yeah, I'm still.
Al?
Yeah,
Okay,
all right.
and it'll help. It'll and we can show you
Triage,
how to fight with your rifle and your gear on. You know what I'm saying?
triage,
And
tourniquets.
triage, and all that other good stuff. And you're actually working with a team or three people or more. And that class is limit size, probably about 6'2".
Hmm.
And then I got rifle tactical gear class. That class is the mucho grande of all classes that we have that builds up to that class, and it will teach you how to fight as a fighting force by yourself, by two people, and with a large group. And if you this is something you will never see in your entire life that any other training class is teaching this. I guarantee you. So check it
Why?
out.
Why is that? You listen at one point.
What's that?
The origin of this class.
Oh, the origin of this class. This class was actually taught while I was on active duty. It's a reconnaissance. It was based off of real LERPs tactics that was used out of Vietnam, and I took those tactics and reuse them. I was a long range patrol guy back in the day, and I used these tactics back in the army for real life. And I took those courses when I even transitioned over to regular army mechanized units. Still taught these tactics because I was still in reconnaissance, and we use these tactics in real life all over the world. And uh, they're viable tactics. They work. And so what I done is took these tactics and condensed them down to civilian level, took out some training aspects of it, and I teach it to you guys. Not all of it. You get about 25% of what it really is. So
And it's still a lot.
it's still a lot. So all day class, you're gonna work. You're gonna work hard. So be prepared if you do take this class. Train up. And but how you train up is take some of our previous classes with myself or Al or Omar
Omar.
and get yourself trained up for that class and you want to take it. They will assess you to take that class because this is an intermediate to an advanced class, not for beginners. So if you're a beginner, you got to get prepared for this class because it's a lot of maneuvering. And the final is the laser engraving on the back. You can I do everything from leather patches to portraits, dog tags, magazines, novelty items, coasters. If you got any questions, name, email, phone number, subject, and shoot a message to me, and I'll answer you back. Now, also too, tonight. Let's see where we at. All right. So tonight, let me get in that. Hey, WK, what's going on? And tonight, let's see, we are live on. Let me double check. Let me double check. See if we're live. We are live on YouTube. Let me double check and see if we're live on. We're live on the Rumble, and we're also live on the lovely but the weird Twitch stream. And Twitch stream got a bunch of weirdos over there. So, guys, just manage your questions a little bit better than just pushing out a bunch of weird stuff.
Hmm.
But everybody, if you can, go to and watch us on Rumble because that's where it's at, and that is the best place to be because we are really supported over there on Rumble. And I will put the link in the chat so you guys can share it if you want to, and for the live stream. And but Rumble is a place to go. We get the most views, the most support. Also in Rumble, please go to support our channel. Type in Rumble search the Two Alphas Talk and click on channel, and the channel will come up and follow that channel. So we're trying to get that channel going up. The regular page on Rumble, that is the business page, and we got a lot of followers on there. So now we need to start migrating people over to our channel and get things going up too. And Let's see. Oh, also give likes on YouTube, and if you're on Twitch, give a like to Twitch too. Especially on Rumble. If you got any questions, hit us up on Rumble, YouTube. It helps us move up, but not on YouTube. YouTube is suppressing our channel and shadow banning us pretty hard, and where it's almost non-existent. So, oh, I hate YouTube. And but we're gonna do. We're gonna give away to the first 4 callers. If you guys call tonight, after the bottom of the hour, after 30 minutes into the show, we'll we will go ahead and let's see, what am I trying to do here? We will when I put the number back up, you guys can call on the show, and we're gonna give away four 2 Alpha Talk leather patches. And let's make sure the question you have is reference to the topic and at hand. So don't call in no craziness, because I will have your number. And how we're going to do this, you'll call in and you will go ahead and ask the questions. I will write down your number, and you will send an email to saberteamtactical@gmail.com with your phone number and that you called in on the show with your name and address, and I'll mail you the patch to you. Okay. So with that, let's get into it, Al.
Yeah. So tonight's topic.
Oh, look who's here.
Yeah, Long Dread.
Yeah.
My brother.
What's
Long
happening, man?
been a
Haven't
while.
seen you in what, 15 years? No, just
Yeah.
oh boy. All right, go ahead, Al.
So tonight's topic is something that's been around for a long time. If you mind sharing that article.
Oh, okay.
And this is where it started.
You see it?
Is that me? Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned the music down. Oh, look who just jumped in.
Oh, yeah.
P3 Tactical. All right, my man. Look at that. Thank you for showing up and supporting them, man.
So this is where it came from. This is written by the Harvard Law Review, and I think it was like 2022. This is probably a revised one. There was another one that was written earlier. It comes from someone's actual presentation. So you can go to this website and take a look at it. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to give you a little bit of history from the synopsis that I read about it. But basically, the original origins of gun control were basically to keep guns out of black people's hands, right? So the reason why we're using it as a topic tonight is one of the things that has come up in the last few years is that, and I mean last 2 years, is more black people have bought firearms than ever before in the history of the Second Amendment in this country. So if that's the case, we have to understand and look at the history of what we're dealing with. And you can extrapolate a lot of information from this particular piece right here. But one of the things that we're looking at is the strategies in which the government has used in order to keep firearms out of people's hands. So although it was in the 1800s and even the early 1900s, as you see here, it talks about Martin Luther King being denied a concealed carry permit. So during that time, when you look at that, you have to understand the ramifications that those people had to deal with, because that's what we're dealing with now. We're looking at people who want to confiscate all firearms from law-abiding citizens, leaving us at the mercy of people who are not going to abide by the law. And that's a simple equation as I can put it. But what we also have to look at is, do we have a Second Amendment for everyone, or do we have a Second Amendment that's for those people and a Second Amendment for those other people? You see? So that's what we're, to get the topic started at this point. One of the things that I saw in this is that many of the situations that have occurred, when you look back on it today, I watched a lot of videos that I didn't agree with, but the information was relevant. And in particular, people talking about incidents that happened recently, and they talked about it in the vein to push their agenda. So instead of saying that the person was using narcotics and wasn't in his right phase of his mind, they eliminated that part and went straight to
The
This
gun.
is what happened. This is what the officer responded to, and and they just started
Right.
shooting him. And that's not. You got to deal with everything, and it's
Mm-hmm.
hard and it's not easy. Nobody wants to hear all of that. I didn't want to hear the slants, of people talking about guns are bad. I don't want to read that, but at the same time, I had to get through that, and that's what I think the challenge is for all of us is that we have to hear the other person's side. You don't have to agree with them, but you understand where they're coming from because a lot of these people are straight way off the board. There's no way that you can, and I know you're not listening to them. So, so they're way off the board, right?
No.
But there's others those ones in the middle, those people who are like, if you own a firearm, that's fine. I just don't want one, and they don't want to violate your rights. They are cool with people owning firearms, people in the carrying firearms. They don't mind, but at the same time, you have those that want all of us disarmed, and that's the person that we're pretty much, for lack of better words, that's the person we're battling with.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know,
I understand what you're saying.
hmm
Going back to dealing and talking with those people is my philosophy is if you're not a gun owner, I can't talk to you because you don't understand. It's almost like talking to a person about driving who don't own a car.
But see what you just said. Let's talk about a young person because I had this
Mhm.
debate recently with a
Okay.
family member, and he said that he can't see this country ever being disarmed. And I said to him, I said, okay, you're talking about like what, 5, 10, 15, 20 years? He said, yeah. I
I
said,
do.
they're playing the long run. They're playing the
Hmm.
long game. They're playing
Yeah.
40 years from now.
Yes.
So when we're dead and the next generation or the 4 generations from now come
They're already
along
working on it.
and they're
Yeah.
already in their mind saying guns are bad,
Hmm.
we got to disarm. We got a peaceful disarmament where the
Right.
people willingly will give up their gun. When you talk about decades of brainwashing and
Right.
decades of people saying you don't need a firearm, the government is there to protect you. When the Supreme Court has already ruled that law enforcement and the government, which is
It's
one and the
not there to
same,
protect you.
they have
Yeah.
no right to protect you. They have no
Right.
obligation to protect you
And,
as
and
an
if people
individual citizen. That's crazy.
and if people think we're if not telling the truth in that,
Look it
you
up.
remember when we had the mass shootings and all these school kids walked out of school and they were protesting all over the nation. They were walking, and the news was showing it and praising these
Mhm.
kids for walking out and
Taking a
protesting
stand.
against gun control. Guess what? When those people get of age, they're going to vote, and they will vote your rights right away.
Hmm
And see, and they don't just want to get rid of guns; they want to demolish the Second Amendment. See, if you get rid of the Constitution, the Second Amendment of the Constitution, the whole thing goes away, and then you don't have a leg to stand on. And it means Supreme Court can't support it. Nobody can support it.
Yeah.
So they're already working on, like Al said, they're working on the kids. They've been working on them for a long time,
hmm
since probably the '60s. And it's
Yep.
and when they started in the '60s, you got to remember all the radical people who became out of the '60s ended up becoming professors and teachers. And now you got the same, and they taught those radical students. Then you're looking at uh, once those radical students got, first thing they want to do is go back into the educational system, and they figure they're right, and they're going to teach everybody what's the right, what's going on right. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And not realizing they've been programmed and brainwashed. They're a bunch of idiots.
Right.
True.
But if you don't know you're being brainwashed, you go along with it
But
because
see,
everyone around you is doing the same thing.
right. But check this out. But what happens with those people? We have seen it during the summer of love. I saw it several times. I have went up to people and talked to them. They was completely anti-gun. I know people who sold their firearms who were anti-gun. And when the summer of love came, they were like, what type of gun can I get? Where can
Right.
I get a gun? I
hmm
need to get a gun. I knew this one little dude, he was anti-gun. He bought a shotgun, a rifle, and a couple of pistols. And it was like, and I was like, are you gonna get out and train? No. Yeah. they all come to me for to ask advice, and I said, well, you get out and train, I'll hook you guys up.
Right.
you know, None of them come. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? One dude argued with me for the life of me. I have no reason to have a gun. Then the next thing you know, he went out and bought him a pistol. I'm
Right.
like,
And the thing that I hear a lot of is people saying, "I need something."
right,
And these are people who are never going to train. The gun is either going to be in the same box
Lo-
that they bought it in a
right,
closet somewhere underneath a bed or in a glove box.
right.
And the thing is,
Unloaded,
right? Oh
unloaded.
yeah, oh definitely
Oh yeah,
unloaded.
it's
I,
unloaded.
and or there's just the killer. People want a firearm with a pistol with a safety on it because they have kids in the house.
Right. Let's put it in the lockbox.
But that is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. These
Yeah.
kids play video games. The video games are so detailed now, and I don't play them. I just watch. So detailed that they show the actual character taking the safety off the gun. So you think this kid, even a 5-year-old, can
They know
figure out
how
how
to
to
do
take
it.
a
They
safety
know how
off?
to. But see, that's a whole different subject because I grew up in a home full of guns. We didn't
Hmm.
have any gun accidents. I know you probably grew up in a home full of guns. You didn't have any gun
No,
accidents.
no, I escaped,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and I have parents from. I lived in New York City,
but
and they were all in the same belief that we don't need firearms, that we have the police.
hmm
And
right,
I was always the malcontent. I was always the thumb on the hand because I'm like, nope, we got to get out of here.
right,
The first opportunity I got, I was gone.
right.
Because and even then I moved to Maryland, and when I was living in Maryland it was the same way. Maryland was the same as Georgia in
hmm
1986. I bought my first gun off of a what do you call it, a bulletin board at a gun shop. A
Right.
guy was selling a gun and he had it listed on the back on a bulletin board. I called him directly, met
hmm
him, paid him, got the pistol, and moved on.
Right.
Never saw him again in my life.
Right. So, and let's go back to your theory.
Hmm.
What gun control is doing for this is really targeting it. Gun control was originally targeting minorities and minority areas and had been targeting that for a long time. But since they realize now it's not just they want to target minorities, they want to target the gun control aspect of everybody. And they're using that same theory of violence in the in the minority area to push it around and say it's violence everywhere and it's all caused by one common denominator, the gun, you know?
Hmm.
And but it's the human wielding that thing, but they're not even trying to analyze that. And but they're pushing that whole aspect of gun control to get rid of them all. I mean, we got a president that's saying it almost every other week.
Every day, and all his
And
constituents say the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, we want to get rid of guns. We want to get rid of guns, and you're
Hmm.
not going to own them. And people going out and they're just buying them even more. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
And one of the things that when I was, like I said, having a little discussion, one of the things that came up is that who would do that,
Who would do what?
and who would give up their guns, like who would
Oh,
do that?
there's people who come on now,
Hmm.
come on. There are people out here right now who own guns who would give them up if the government says give them up. You
My
guys,
first response,
yeah.
to him was, go look at who shows up at a gun buyback. That
Oh
was the
yeah,
first one. That was the first response.
yeah.
And then I said, after that, it's anyone who feels that they would be an outlaw if they do not turn them in.
hmm
Good
And
citizens.
in the state of Georgia, if you go to a buyback here, the majority of people overwhelmingly are
Black.
black.
Hmm. Yep. And if you
Overwhelmingly.
look at it, you never. I'm gonna go say never. I'm gonna say never. You never see those buybacks anywhere out in the country. You
No,
always see them in Atlanta
inner city.
or somewhere in Columbus.
Gwinnett,
Or
Gwinnett,
right.
Columbus,
Hmm.
Atlanta, inner cities,
Yep.
and them white folks are driving down there so fast to get that Amazon gift card. It is ridiculous. I mean,
Hmm.
not for white folks, but black folks is driving
Hmm.
down there so fast to get those and feel proud about themselves that they did this.
Hmm.
But don't let them guys have some violence in their life. Because the first thing they're gonna do is run down to that gun store and go buy them a gun.
Hmm.
They're oxymorons, man. And it's like the funny thing about it, the people who turn in those guns are law-abiding citizens. They're not criminals.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
how is your gun being turned in going to affect the crime level?
Hmm.
No, it's not,
Right.
because you're not a criminal.
Nope.
You know,
You don't
you
do
don't
crime
see
with the gun. It doesn't affect you.
you don't see Pookie and Ray Ray out there turning in their guns.
No,
They're not doing it.
never,
You know,
never.
yeah.
And people talk about what is it? The other one they were picked up was the being a first world nation. Right, we're a first
Hmm.
world nation, yet we have crime like a third world nation. No,
No,
we
we
don't.
don't.
No, we don't.
No,
Not
no.
at all. You go look up the real stats. They can say that every day of the week, and every day of the week they're a liar.
Hmm.
It's nowhere near that bad. Hell, in North America, look at Mexico.
Hmm.
Look at the crime that happens from the cartels. Shit, just last week. Look what happened to the four people who went down there. For whatever reason that they were down
Oh,
there.
she went down there to get a BBL. That's what she went down there for.
Okay, and
Yeah.
she wound up being shot
With,
at, and two
yeah.
people killed.
Wind up with a pistol L.
I
That's
bet
what
you if
she.
somebody from Mexico came to the United States for a BBL, they wouldn't get shot at, and the cartel wouldn't run up on them and snatch them off the street.
No, no, no.
See,
They
but
found out.
but how is the crime rate in America so bad?
Yeah, yeah. Cartel is running rampant in
Running, stop right
Mexico.
there. Running parts of Mexico. Yeah,
Yeah,
cartel has the Mexico divided in the sections,
and it's
divvied up.
all being done with guns.
Hmm.
And they have an average killings of, I don't know, it's hundreds per day. People
Hmm.
get beheaded, chopped up, shot, killed, just thrown in the middle of the street. But we got these nuts here saying we got the highest crime level. No, we don't. We don't by far. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And yeah, that was should have been an eye opener for everybody who keeps going to Mexico. Stay out of that third world dirty country. You
And
know.
guess what? They're actually second world.
Well, it's.
They're part of it. It's
I know what
really
you're saying. The
actually
second world,
they're actually first world. They're part
but
of the
when I
United
went,
States
but when I went there,
allies.
it was third world, bro. I went deep Mexico, so I know they didn't even have cell phones. You know, some of the
Right,
places didn't
right.
even have running water. So it's third
It's
world,
tough.
bro.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
little kids running behind the truck with the.
Hmm.
That's how they're collecting their garbage, man. It's rough, dude.
Right, it is.
So
And one of the things that we're always compared to Europe. It wasn't until 1997 when Europe went
I take a
confiscated all the guns and made it
yeah
illegal to own
yeah.
firearms. And it's not illegal to own firearms; it's illegal to carry and to own them in your home. You can go to a club and you can
It
have
has to
them at
stay
a.
at the club. It
There
has
you
to
go.
stay at the club.
Yep.
Yeah. And Australia is the same way.
Right.
They gave up their rights. Look what happened in Canada. Canada just banned all sales of pistols and rifles,
Hmm.
and even transfer sales, private sales. You can't even do that.
Right.
You know. And these people just sitting there, oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Well, you voted for that guy. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
You put them in
Yeah.
office.
You put him in office. You knew what he was about. Everybody told you what he was about. The same
Hmm.
thing we got right now. Everybody told everybody what this guy was all about, and he's sitting up there and he's doing exactly what he was going to do. We go
Hmm.
back to, was it 86 when
Which one?
Biden was talking about the crime bill?
94.
That was
94.
94
Hmm.
crime bill. And he told everybody what he was all about. He was
Yep.
saying, these people, I don't want these people around
He
my
said
kid.
predators.
Yeah, predators. But he also said,
Hillary recharged it and said super predators, but
right,
he called us predators, black people. And
right.
everything that he delineated in his words, you didn't see nobody else but black people.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the government years later, we find out who put the crack in the inner cities.
Yeah, it was the government. Yeah, but you got charged more as a crack dealer than you was as a crack user.
Right.
You know, and the
Mhm.
funny part about it, there were white kids using crack too,
Yep.
and but they never went to jail. You
And
know what I'm
and
saying?
and if you had a similar ounce, you had an ounce of coke and an ounce of crack, you get
Crack got harder hit
10 years for crack, 5 years or 2 years for
for
coke.
coke. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, but um, yeah, it's all based on guns. Now you look at let's. This is a great segue into the the Korean standoff in California. We had the assault ban, weapons
Right.
assault ban, happen in the United States. At the same time, we also was under the Rodney King riot that came out in California and Los Angeles. So, but if you look at the videos of the guns that the Koreans had, because the Koreans had, they call them rooftop Koreans,
Yep.
they had to protect themselves because LAPD, the
Was
sheriffs,
under siege.
yeah, they all
LAPD was under siege.
they pulled out, and Rampart was in there, and they bunkered in, and they just stayed inside, you know.
Right. Right.
And
They had no way to do anything because if they would have did what they needed to do, they would have been seen as heavy handed.
right, but yeah, what
You
was
got a mass riot. You got pandemonium going on, and you have less officers than people involved in the riots. There's nothing you really can do.
right?
There's nothing you can do. You can't even stabilize it. You got, like you just mentioned, you got to hunker down and pay attention to see if there's any ebbs and flows, and that's when you have to strike.
But everybody, I'm trying to say, everybody had guns except for the people who lived there.
Right.
So it was funny. I even saw a small kid, 7 years old, packing a pistol. You know what I'm saying? And I should have gunned him down, but I didn't.
Right.
But he was packing a pistol, you know, and it was weird to see that.
I just realized.
Just realized
I just realized what you said.
It's an incident behind. It's an incident behind that. It's an incident behind that, and I didn't do it because of his age, you know.
Woo.
And but he flashed it and almost pulled it out, and so he got pretty close. I let him live that day, and
I'm sure he still thanks you to this day.
well, no, he did not. He called us MFs as he walked off, you know.
But I'm sure as he got older and he realized his stupidity, he realized
Right.
it.
Yeah, and so, but the rooftop Koreans, if you look at all the guns, they had AKs, they had some of them you had Uzis out there. I mean, it was incredible to see some of the weaponry they had, and the news started showing some of it, and the news decided, well, I don't think we should show
Right. I remember
this
that.
much. Yeah. So remember, they stopped showing them. They only showed the guys shooting in the street with the pistols and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they showed a few of them on the rooftop. When it got to the AKs, they like got off real quick because they did not want to say these guys had illegal guns and let's go after them because it was Asian. Now, if this was the black community running around like that, they would have. They'd have
found some reason to
they
drop the bomb like they did in Tulsa, drop the bomb like they did in Philadelphia. They'd have found a way.
But I mean, that we learned so much from that Rodney King riot on how society will act, and it was unreal. You know what I'm saying? And how society would prepare itself for a siege like that. And it was definitely a siege for 24 hours. It was lawlessness for 24 hours before anybody went in there and put a
Right.
stop to it.
Exactly.
And it was, you didn't get a lot of murders from the people murdering each other. That part didn't happen, but it was a lot of rampage where they went in. They were doing what do you call that?
Overwatch.
No, you force your way into somebody's house.
Burglary.
Yeah, but a lot
breaking
of
and
people
entering.
was still there, and the people didn't have guns, so they just went right in and took their stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's
Home
nothing-
invasion.
Yeah, home invasion. There's nothing people could do about it because nobody had guns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the same thing when you talk about disarming for no damn reason. You know, that's what you wind up getting because there's always going to be a criminal element. I don't give a. There's no way that movie with Wesley Snipes and I think it's called something whatever it is, but it's in the future, and everybody's so nice, and everybody is buddies, and Wesley Snipes is a criminal, and he wakes up in the future, and he's
Oh,
still
okay.
the same dude from 2000s or 99, and he
Mm-hmm.
runs like a hot knife through
Oh,
butter.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and all the when there's a skit, well, not skit, part of the movie where the current or future law enforcement gets there, and they're every time Wesley Snipes curses, it says he gets a fine, and he says shut the f up,
Yeah, you're
and it's
right.
like boop, and then when the police show up, they're saying sir,
They
please
don't even have
disarm.
guns. They don't even
No,
have guns.
no,
Yeah.
and he just he's a karate master anyway, but he just
Right.
puts a foot
Demolition
straight up
Man.
there.
There it is
Demolition
right
Man. There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. You had
Thank you, Long Dread.
one guy saying Judgment Day.
Hmm.
Then somebody says it's actually
That's Long
Demolition
Dread. It's
Man.
Demolition Man. That's it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Thank you guys for helping me out
Yeah.
there. I was
Yeah.
fighting for that
And-
one. But
and-
those are the type of things that, until that day when we're all in Shangri-La and every 40 years past my lifespan.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna. I think we got close to seeing it in our lifetime.
Are
we
you
got
serious?
close. We got close to seeing gun control in our lifetime. We got pretty damn close. I mean, we got
Give me
so
one. Give me
close.
one. Give me one.
HR 1808.
Yeah, but it didn't pass.
I know, but it passed the House, and the only reason it didn't pass the Senate because the Senate minority leader did not want to put it on the floor. If it had went to the floor at that time, and if they had the Senate completely, it would have passed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have passed. We would have been done. So that's how close we became. This was the closest we ever become to almost losing our gun rights, and a lot of people don't even realize it. Let me make some announcements real quick.
Yep,
We're
please.
on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. For you guys on YouTube, please like and the channel because YouTube is suppressing us to death over there. And Rumble, we have a new Two Alpha Talks channel. Go into the search bar, type in Two Alphas Talk. Go to channel. Go to type in Two Alphas Talk. You'll see the channel come up. Please like the channel over there so we can start building that channel up. Also, too, we're going to give away. Let's see if it comes in. Let's see where it is. All right, Two Alpha Talks leather patches. If you guys call in with a question for the show or the topic, we want to talk about something or a reference to the topic, you can call in. I'll put the number up here right now. And there's the number 446920561. And you can call in. When you call in, I will take your last four or your phone number down or ask you for it on air if I don't see it. And you will send an email with your name and the last four of with your full phone number
Right.
with the email. And you'll email saberteamtactical@gmail.com with your name, address, and I will mail this patch to you. That's how we'll verify if you called in, because it should match the logs that I have. All right. So back to that. Yeah, it's and it's the same thing now. That riot scared a lot of people and prepared them, and it started a lot of prepper groups because everybody was like, well, that's going to happen again. And it did.
Right.
We saw it again when we had the Summer of Love. You know what I'm saying? And people were prepared this time. Towns were prepared, and a lot of neighborhoods were prepared. People were prepared for what if these clowns come up into our neighborhood? What we're gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but then you had a lot of neighbors, and I know, for instance, in my neighborhood, supporting that crap. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't out protesting. They would have got. I'm not gonna say, but they're not protesting. But I did have a backup plan here in my neighborhood because I have another guy who's also military. It's a couple guys military, and we talked, and I just said, just wait and see what happens. That's all we do. You'll see me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yeah, and but but there's a lot of people, man, here they're just totally supporting that crap, and it's like, oh yeah, burn down the cities and all this other good stuff. It's stupid.
Right, but at the same time, when you look at that, most people, especially in the early '70s,
Hmm.
even when Reagan signed the Act,
Hmm.
and that was basically a knee jerk reaction for the Black Panthers
And
exercising their right to carry
right,
firearms, right?
right.
So
Because
when
at
you
the
have
time you can carry a firearm into a federal building and load it,
Mhm.
and it was no problem. Yeah,
Exactly, but
they
people got
stopped that.
nervous
Hmm.
because these guys don't look like the status quo,
Right.
and they show up and they're exercising their right.
Hmm.
And mind you, we all have our own idiosyncrasies, our own biases. Nobody can tell me that they don't have any. You do. You see certain people, you start getting watching them a little bit more, paying attention to where they are, those type of things. And it will it go away? I don't know, but it will
But
help keep you
biases
alive.
never go away.
It
No,
will keep you
that
alive too. I
yeah,
mean, some
yeah,
of this
yeah.
stuff you start
Gotta have
seeing. You see somebody on a street corner. I use this analogy for the longest. You see somebody on a street corner, and as you're approaching him, he puts his hood on. If you continue to walk up down that same street in the same path, you're an idiot.
Bro, I know some people that will. I know I know some people who they'll have their headphones in, they be on their phone, and they'll just be continually walking, just what I'm saying, until they feel that boop. You know what I'm saying? There's people who do this all the
Oh,
time.
well,
They don't even pay attention. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I mean, I gotta go downtown Atlanta weekly,
right.
and I see this all the time. They're
Wow,
roaming around at night with headphones in, facing their phone, and it's acting women
damn.
by themselves and acting like nothing's going on. And even the guys, even though violence is committed against men more than it is women,
Hmm.
and the guys are doing it the most. And it's like, what are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
yeah,
You know? Or they're
yeah.
driving around in their car with the windows all rolled down
Hmm.
and pull up at a light, and next thing you know, they're on the phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
It's rough. It's rough. At the same time, what I mean by that is that when you start to see things and you recognize them, and we pay attention to who's watching us
who?
and why.
Right.
That's what. That's how you keep yourself alive, right? That's the
Yes, we
first
do.
part.
Yeah.
Avoidance is the second key. Is watching and avoid it. That's how you stay alive. You can be Billy Badass and walk in right into the lion's den and come out on the other end scarred or even worse, right? So when we start talking about firearms and carrying firearms, it's not a matter of I have one. That's the first and foremost, right? But it's also when you use it and how you use it and can you use it in certain situations. Sometimes,
And
just walking across the street is going to save your life.
do anybody else know you have it?
That shouldn't.
Because no, hold on.
Hmm.
I just watched the video. The dude in the store bent over, his pistols protruding out, and some cat walks in behind him, press up against him on his opposite side, reach over, grab his gun, walk right out the store.
Damn. So I had a client last week, and he told me his brother had a similar incident. And the brother, they're both, I think they were originally from Ohio, and they both moved down here. And he was telling me that because his brother was shy, didn't want to come out the train because
Mhm.
he had this situation happen, and he had to go buy another firearm. He had the gun in his back pocket.
Mhm.
It may be him, but this happened here in Atlanta. He said he went into
Convenience store.
gas station, yeah, gas
I
station
think this
convenience
might have
store.
been him. I think it might have been
he
him.
said
I think it
he
might have
said his brother's not. He just hasn't gotten over it yet. And I'm
right.
like, wow. He told me the same thing. He said the dude snatched it and then took off, and he turned and looked, and then the guy stopped running. I said, I bet he
Yeah.
did. He got your gun.
Right.
What
Right.
do you got to run for?
Right. But
Man. But
but
see that's a whole, like you said it just a few minutes ago. That's a whole nother topic about
yeah.
concealed carry.
Another topic.
We can go down a whole rabbit hole as
So
far as people who you have the right to conceal carry in the state of Georgia, but yet you want everybody to know you have a gun, so you flash it and you put it
you
in
want to carry
the front pocket.
recklessly. Yeah. So the biggest thing, the new demographics of gun owners today, and it's the biggest voting group in the United States, and that's women.
Hmm.
We're finding out that women of color and white women are the biggest owners and the biggest new buyers of handguns and rifles and shotguns. They're arming themselves.
Yep.
And we all know women outnumber men by, what's it,
Three,
almost five, three to
three,
five
three,
to
at least
one.
three, at least
Yeah,
three.
at least 3 to 1 in the United States.
Hmm.
So they're the biggest consumers right now in the firearm industry. And what's happening is these guys, these women are training.
Yep.
They're taking classes. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting up to speed and
And they're learning. Yep.
they're learning how to wield these guns. So and what's the funny part about it is these women are carrying.
Yep.
So they're preparing to just do some dirt if you guys are going to step up on them.
Yep, you should. There's a video circulating. I think the lady's out in New York. She was a police officer. She's off duty. She told the guy, so apparently they had some kind of conversation previous to what the video recorded. But the video, of typical fashion, records once she says, "I told you not to mess
Yeah.
with me again." So
Right.
now, a lot of times, and especially us, our what do you call these guys? Perry Masons, sidebar lawyers. Everybody's saying, "Oh, she's going to go to jail." No, she's not. No, she's not.
Right.
She can say anything she wants. It's her actions that count. The dude was attacking her. She can call him all kind of dirty names. She can call him every name that you would be offended by. It's in a life and death situation. He's bigger than her. He attacks her twice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right, and a lot of them are great shooters,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They're great
and
shooters.
and she shoots the guy. I don't know if he died. I think he did die eventually, but hey, he attacked her, and if she didn't have that firearm, she probably would have been beat to a pulp because she couldn't stand that. She couldn't take that
Yeah.
guy.
Because no female can go up against a man hand to hand and win. So they have to have some type of equalizer. And a lot of people and a lot of women today thinking, and that's why a lot of women are arming themselves because they know this. A man in his pure form rage can do a lot of damage.
All things equal, a lady can't win.
Right.
158-pound woman and 158-pound man is no way.
Hey,
I've seen that 190
11-year-old
woman and that 62-pound man. Yeah,
11-year-old child can take a woman. You know what I'm saying? If he's got full rage.
right.
Full rage is a dangerous thing when it comes to a man. You know what I'm saying? Because you full rage is where you have no control of what you're doing and your pure animal will come out. And it's there. We have it all. Everybody has it in them. And we haven't seen it in a long time. We saw it back in, if you read the history books, we saw it when the guys were battling with swords. That was pure rage. Then it came back again during World War One when the trench warfare fighting. We saw it then. Then it came back. Rage came again. We saw it in Vietnam, and that's when we saw pure rage again. We have not seen pure rage like that since, and a lot of people have gotten relaxed and thinking that men cannot perform pure rage, but it's there. And but a lot of women are understanding that because what happened with the Summer of Love, it made them all realize they have nobody that's going to come and save them.
Right.
So what they're doing, they're going out and buying guns and getting prepared for the next Summer of Love because it's coming again.
Right, and think about this. We many people talk about this on so many levels. The single mom, how bad she is. She's raising these little punks, and okay, great, but she also has to defend it. And she's the mama bear or the mama lion. So they're going out and they're arming themselves and they're training, and they don't have the inhibitions that most of men have. You talk to a guy, you got a certain skill set. These guys over here that are that we know that are inside of the chat room, they have a certain skill set. When you go talk to some dude that you just met and you start talking about and gun conversation comes up, he swears he's just as good as you.
Right.
Because he owns he's got a Taurus G32CX, whatever the hell the new
No.
Taurus, right?
What's the other gun?
What
The hunk of steel. When
no
they tell you
High
that-
Point?
when
I'm
they- you
giving the
got-
guy some credit. I'm gonna give him
When they
some
tell
credit.
you they got a high point, I just like
I
do
stopped
this.
talking,
I do this.
yeah.
I know. I don't stop. I go. You sensei. You a bad dude.
Right, but my point is, you get these people and they won't listen to you. But ladies, they hear and they recognize that you have a skill set. They're interested and they pay
Right.
attention. and they
Right.
don't go, oh, well, what about doing it this way? They listen, and then if they want to try something else, they do it later. They take advanced courses and all of that.
Right. So here's another factor. Ladies, we're noticing this. We notice white ladies will take a class one-on-one with no problem. Okay. They don't need a group of support. Black ladies, you guys need to stop this mess where you guys need a group support in order to take a class, and the instructor has to be the same color as you. It has to stop because we got guys out here, ex special forces, ex Navy SEALs guys are out here teaching these classes, and you guys are not willing to go take those classes from those guys and learn a high level skill of training. So stop using race as a hindrance for you guys to work off of as a crutch, because these white ladies are going out and taking these classes from these high level guys. They don't give a damn. You guys, you black ladies, get out here and you take these classes from these low rent black guys who barely know what they're doing.
Just got an I do certification. I do, and
Right.
certified over the line.
Just because he's black and he's speaking all that black lingo, you got to stop doing that. You're doing yourself a disservice. What do you say?
He knows I'm training. Women listen and ask questions. Men tell you what they already know.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the course or the actual
Right.
application that you're working on right then and
Yeah.
there.
Men got an ego problem. You know what I'm saying?
And it's something that we all say it. You hear it a lot nowadays. Humble yourself.
you got to
Show up and be quiet. Show up and be
Yeah.
quiet and learn stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
even I take classes. You know what I'm saying? And I've been through a lot of classes, Al too. And we go to those classes. I don't wear no patches. I don't wear none of that stuff to try to say
promote
who I
nothing. I'm
am.
not trying to steal nobody's clients.
I
I go to classes, and when it starts shooting, I had a couple of dudes come over and look and go, "Oh, I thought you was new to this." No, I'm not new to this. Just because
Right.
I didn't come out and jumping around and tell you who I am, and then when it's time to draw and fire and put a few rounds down range, and they look at the target, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you're not new to this. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've taken refresher courses because I want to hear how a solid instructor teaches new people.
Right.
So I can maybe learn something to help, because that's my bailiwick, is working with new people. So
Because
I
he's getting
listen.
old.
I listen to people, and I want to hear a different way of being said.
Right. Right.
I took
yeah.
a class with Claude Warner
Right.
a couple of times, and the first time it was like, exactly, forever student, and the
Right.
first time it was one of those deals where he was like, he looked over and he recognized me, but it was like, and then we started shooting. He said, "Yeah, I thought that was you."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let your shooting do your talking. Let
Right.
that represent you. Don't
Yeah.
represent yourself with
Yeah.
a bunch of
Don't go in there
machos.
with a bunch of patches on, especially the cats with these African patches. I mean, you got to stop this.
Hey man, ain't
You know,
nothing wrong with damn African patches.
I mean, don't
Red,
don't,
black, and green is no different than the
I've never
green,
been
yellow,
there.
green,
Have you been there?
orange, and
You
white.
been there? You been
Been
there?
where? Been where?
Africa.
I've been to the African store. I've been to the African store.
Well,
I've been to
I ain't been there.
African
I'm
restaurant.
just saying some of these cats, because it's a turnoff to a lot of the instructors, and when they see certain patches, they will give you less information.
Bro, I've been in a class with a dude with a Confederate patch sitting next to me.
Okay,
All
I
right,
understand.
and I've also wow, thank you, my brother, thank you. The Rebel Rouser, he's on his way back. It's funny, I was just thinking about that name just recently, Derek. But I've been in a class with a dude with a Confederate patch, and I've also been with a guy that had one of those neo-Nazi patches. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you just think it's a regular patch.
Dude,
And
I
got guns too.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what I've done. And
What I'm saying to you is and someone on the same line as you, but also represent, understand that you go to the class. I paid my money just like this guy did.
Right,
I'm trying to learn
right.
something from him. I don't give a damn
Right,
what kind of memorabilia this cat
Right.
is representing. That don't
Right.
have nothing to do. It just lets me know who he is now.
well, I told you about the class at up in Rome Well, the audience probably haven't heard this, but I went up to Rome to take an NRA course, and that's when I was getting all my certifications. So when I get to the place, I see this gigantic rebel flag flying in the wind over the place. So I'm driving, I'm looking at my GPS, and I'm like, just driving by, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna stop there. You know what I'm saying? So I go down the street, turn around, I turn my GPS off, turn it back on, put the address back in, drive back, and I'm going look. So then I turn around, come back, and I called the guy and I say, "Hey man, I'm riding around. I don't see any where this place is at." He said, "Man, it's the place with the gigantic Confederate flag." I was like, what? So I turn around and go up in there, man. The guy ended up being the nicest guy.
Yep.
His wife was Asian. He was just some white guy, and he had a range up there, man. I rode with him in the truck. He offered me to use his property and all types of stuff. And he turned out to be a real nice guy, but the perception,
Right.
it had me for a moment. I was like, all right, here we go.
Hell, we had guys that work with us that took classes from a guy that had that new age skinhead thing on it, and he had one on his car and one on his back. But that's the same thing. What I say to you, and what I say, I don't have a problem with a student or an attendee wearing something like that. I don't do that because I'm not trying to turn off customers. Right. I can be bananas because my information is what I'm trying to get apart to you. I'm not trying to change your political ideologies or any of that. I'm just coming in. I want to train.
I know what you're saying, but they do treat those guys differently when you go to that range. And
because all they see is what they've seen in the past. So if you look on Instagram and you see those guys, we see them. They're doing all kind of stupid stuff, and they're rolling around, they're dancing with guns, they're shooting, a 50 cal with one hand to see who's tougher. That's meaningless. It's meaningless. Nobody hit a goddamn target. The gun that damn near smacked the man in the head.
Right.
What's the purpose of that? But then when other people, outsiders, and not only just white folks, but black guys too, when they see it, they go, "Oh, I don't want to be around that. It's dangerous." And then if that person shows up at your range, you got to be overly cautious with them. You and I both know insurance ain't free. No. So if I gotta call the insurance company, rates going up. Nobody wants to deal with that.
Or they'll drop you. Well,
and they're more likely they're going to drop you.
They're going to drop you
because there's a lot of people looking for insurance, so they don't need you.
Yeah, especially once they've realized it was negligence. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your part.
Everything that I see that's a near miss has always been negligence. There's never been a time, except for if you're shooting a SIG 320, and other than that, or even a damn high point, is pretty much safe for the most part. If you read the instructions on a high point, it says pulling the trigger on this firearm may be detrimental to your health.
Because it might not work.
Exactly.
So the next demographic is we're finding out who's buying guns is white Southerners with money
and Mexicans.
And so they're buying guns left and right. You can't get a Mexican to come train with you. I haven't seen one yet.
There's different ideologies too. So when we start talking about training, I have had Spanish descendant people.
That's
come out
different.
And
I'm talking about pure.
I said Spanish descendant. I didn't say Mexican. But Mexican folks, they go out and they just shoot. They're not.
Well, no. Some of them are training, but
but they're not training with across the board spectrum with the type of training that we offer or anybody offers.
That's because
they're doing their own training.
I had a clause when it came out in the beginning where, and it still is in effect, only train citizens. If you're not a citizen, don't come our way. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way that goes. Because when the balloon hits, we need all citizens to be together instead of foreigners fighting against us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Listen, no such thing as that.
Accidental shooting is only negligent. Absolutely.
Put it on.
Everything could be prevented. If you pull the trigger and it's an accident, it's your negligence.
Right. So the white Southerners are the latest. So we have a overwhelming number of younger generation buying guns now. So young males. That's black, white. Majority, they're buying a lot of pistols and a lot of rifles, and um, a lot of them going overboard and buying too much stuff. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? They're getting cans and
Red anodized triggers.
yeah, and it's just ran out of time. They're getting too much. I mean,
Hmm.
it's enough's enough. Stop buying so much gear for your guns.
Right, and nobody's shooting, nobody's practicing. You know, it goes back to buy one gun and learn it,
Right.
and
And
learn it till you can't unlearn it.
the majority of these guys are not reloaders, so they're spending the big bucks on ammunition too. So
Especially in this day and age. But see,
yeah,
this what you just said, spending the big bucks. I had to explain this to somebody recently. I'm gonna do
they
it to you real quick.
ramen. They're not
They think
rich,
they think this is the price, bro.
right?
$19 for 50 rounds of ammunition is what they think is normal. So they don't know the $9 and $8.50 and what we used to I used to look for $7 for 50 rounds of 9 millimeter. You don't
Hmm.
find that anymore. But
Right,
when people coming in now, they think 19 to $25 for a box of 50 rounds of ammunition is the going rate.
right. We're just telling the truth, man. That's all we're doing. Just telling the truth. I
They
just
think
try
it's
to,
a going rate, bro.
yeah.
And look at the prices of firearms. You know, I tell people all the
Oh
time, Six
no,
Hour makes a great $400 pistol. They only sell it for 800.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's got to be another subject, man. We need to get an industry guy in here and really talk about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And because the price of guns is ridiculous.
Yep.
You know, they're selling pistols. Anybody who go out of their way and buy a pistol for $890, you are out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But you also have to understand what you just said. When you have the industry have it setting that price at that point, look at Palmetto and the
Dude,
daggers
yeah, the
and the
daggers.
rock and all
Right.
these other guns that. So
Look what
if they're
happened to
coming out and
the
they're
Clank.
making it
Clank started the same way.
somebody else started
The
it.
Canic was not the
Canic.
Clank. Canic
Canic.
started the
Right.
same. Remember, Canic was under $300
Yeah, and
when it
now
first
there's
came out.
another company similar to Palmetto that's making their own in-house, basically Glock clone and selling it for sub $400 as well.
Right.
I can't. I saw an email recently, but I don't remember who it was. But if they can do that, these other big guys, even with their huge advertising budgets and all that stuff, they still can sell a 9 millimeter pistol for under $400
Right. They can. So yeah,
and still make a profit.
I am not spending that kind of money.
Look at Taurus. Taurus, the G2, anything with a G in it is better than anything they've ever made.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not a spokesman for Taurus, but if they want to send anything this way, we'll be accepting. And I'm not a Taurus guy, but
Well, I'll take
I
some
know that
ammunition.
I know
You
that
know.
they make a solid product, and currently, since they're in the
Oh.
state of Georgia now, they stand behind it. They have a new CEO and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And reminder: the brace rule. If they can't get a stay, it goes into effect. Was it April, May? It's May, right? I think it's May 1st. And do not register after May 1st or after the 120 days. If you do, you'll be considered a felon. So just take your braces off, put them somewhere in your house, and store them. And stop telling people about it. You know what I'm saying? If they can't get a
Exactly.
stay in this thing. So, but hopefully they can get a stay. It's being looked at here pretty closely. What's going on, and they're trying to get a stay. But Supreme Court, lower court is going to have to do it first before the Supreme Court do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Yep.
keep an eye on that, and we'll try to keep you on track on that. Let's see who else is the other demographics we was reading about.
That was you covered it.
I think that's it. Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's it. Asian, everybody
Well, you hit
knows
the Asians with the
Asian
rooftops.
Americans overwhelmingly what we're finding out vote Democrat. And believe it or not, that's weird. So it's very weird that the Asian community is voting Democrat. But
But
a
look
lot
who
of
makes all the laws for them. After these,
Yeah.
and I will say, terrific and horrendous incidents happen. But as soon as it wasn't a knee jerk reaction, they made legislation immediately. You know,
Right.
you can't do this, can't do that. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
would vote Democrat too.
Yeah. What's that guy? Come on, see. Like I said, Twitch is they're weird.
Well, he did.
No.
He's not bad. God created men. Samuel Cope made them equal. You can
Oh,
put
okay.
that up
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah.
you know, we got to be worried about Twitch.
Yeah.
We welcome our Twitch brothers, but one
All
at a
right.
time.
Okay,
One at a
Neo.
time.
We'll put you up on the channel. All right. Yep. Sound coat. I don't carry a coat, but all right, guys.
You're not that old.
Yeah.
Hey, man, nobody wants to call in and get these patches?
Yeah. That's all right. I saved my stamps. I don't have to mail them
We'll
out.
be next.
And we'll keep giving them out until you guys finally get the cojones to call in. And but like the shows, like it on YouTube. YouTube is suppressing this channel hard.
They're
where we
suppressing
can't
all
even
guns, man.
Yeah,
Anything gun related, Second Amendment, you name
right.
it.
They're keeping the views down on this page on live down at 35. We can't get any followers. They're I don't know if they're unfollowing people. They're just not doing anything, and we're going crazy on Rumble. You know, over 100 views or more, and the questions and likes. So Rumble is the way to go. YouTube sucks, and that's what's happening.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to talk about that thing that we saw just recently about Instagram and Rumble both having issues with any figure of a gun. Did you see that? I think I sent it to you. Anything that design, you speak about a gun, anything you like this, anything holding a gun, any form is going to be removed from their platform.
Yeah,
Yep.
And you can get your channel taken down. That's how bad they're doing it. They're using it as a strike.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really
crazy.
bad. Yeah, I mean, you're going to use that as a strike on somebody just for having a gun, and that's why we can't show you guys guns on this channel.
Right.
You know?
But you think about it. We all agreed to their use or whatever the hell it's called. We all agreed to their standards when we signed up for it. So
Even though
we don't have a say. They don't want to hear what you have to say anyway.
Right. Yeah. But if all else fails, we'll just take this channel off of YouTube and go to Rumble 100%. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. And we'll see you on the range, right?
Yeah. See you on the range, guys.
See you on the range. All right, guys. Bye.